This is Defense News Weekly from Newsgate Television, edition number 20. In this edition, we take a first look at this year's India's participation at the Dubai Air Show, news regarding upward swing in the indo-US defense ties, an Indian Navy ship INS Sumedha continues its goodwill visit to the African countries. But first things first. The Indian Air Force contingent is currently at Al Maktoum International Airport in Dubai for participation in the biennial Dubai Air Show. The 5-day air show concluded on 17th of November. This year, IAF contingent comprised of two indigenous platforms, the Light Combat Aircraft Tejas and the Advanced Light Helicopter Dhruv. While Tejas was part of both the static and the aerial displays during the air show, the Sarang helicopter display team displayed their formation aerobatics skills. Having participated in the 2021 edition as well, this is the second consecutive occasion for the Tejas and Sarang display teams to enthrall the crowd at the Dubai Air Show. C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft was our mainstay that took the entire Indian Air Force contingent to the Dubai Air Show. The past week also saw a meeting of top leaders from India and United States holding their 2+2 format talks in the field of defense and foreign affairs. On Friday, the 10th of November, during its 2+2 India-US meeting held in New Delhi, the External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar along with Defense Minister Rajnath Singh met US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. During the talks, agreements was reached to co-produce the next generation of armoured infantry vehicles for the Indian Army. This is apart from the earlier decision that was taken to co-produce the jet engines for the next generation of Tejas aircraft. The ministers explored ways and means to advance their defence technology cooperation with joint research in critical areas. They reviewed the progress of the India-US defence industrial ecosystem, Indus-X, which was launched in June this year and aims to expand the strategic technology partnership and defense industrial cooperation between the governments, the businesses, and the academic institutions of India and the US. The US Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin welcomed India's decision to elevate to full membership of the Combined Maritime Forces, a multilateral construct headquarters in Bahrain. Also, during his interaction with the US counterpart, the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh symbolically handed over to Secretary Austin some items recovered in Assam as part of the US Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency mission. The items include, apart from parachute, uniforms, and airline of the US forces from the World War II era, the ministers, before concluding, drew up an agenda for the future joint work for their teams. The fourth edition of bilateral exercise between Indian Navy and Bangladesh Navy, Bongo Sagar 23, and fifth edition of coordinated patrol by the two navies was conducted in the northern Bay of Bengal from 7th to 9th of November. Ships and aircraft from both navies undertook joint patrolling along the international maritime boundary line and subsequently conducted maritime exercises to enhance interoperability. Indian Navy ships Kuthar, Kiltan, and maritime patrol aircraft Dornier participated in the exercise along with Bangladesh Navy ships Abu Bakr and Abu Ubaid and maritime patrol aircraft. The ships undertook communication drills, surface gunshoots, tactical maneuvers, and other exercises that culminated with steam pass. Coordinated patrol exercise also included the maiden humanitarian assistance and disaster relief drills conducted between the two navies, wherein a search and rescue scenario at the sea was exercised. Regular bilateral exercises and coordinated patrols have strengthened mutual understanding and cooperation between the two navies. INS Kuthar is an indigenously built guided missile corvette, whereas INS Kiltan is an indigenously built anti-submarine corvette. Both ships are part of the Indian Navy's Eastern Fleet based at Visakhapatnam, which functions under the operational command of the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Eastern Naval Command. The week gone by also saw Indian Navy Sailing Championships 2023 that was conducted at the Indian Naval Watermanship Training Center in Mumbai. The Sailing Championship was under the aegis of Indian Navy Sailing Association based at the Naval Headquarters. The event is an inter-command championship. This edition witnessed participation from more than 100 personnel from all the three naval commands, comprising of officers, sailors including Agniveers, and the cadets. The championship was conducted in 5 different classes of boats, namely ILCA 7 for men, ILCA 6 for women, Big Nova Wind surf boats, Laser Bahia team racing, and J-24 match racing class of boat. A total of 37 races were conducted over a span of 4 days in 3 different formats of racing. INS Sumedha, in continuation with the Indian Navy's mission-based deployment to West Africa and Atlantic, made a port call at Walvis Bay in Namibia from 10th to 13th of November. This port call is a manifestation of India's warm ties with Namibia, its commitment to enhance maritime security and demonstrate solidarity with the friendly nations. India and Namibia have enjoyed warm and friendly bilateral relations, sharing common values of democracy, development, and secularism. A number of bilateral arrangements for cooperation and military exchange exist between the two countries. As part of its defense cooperation, India over the years has extended training to a large number of Namibian military officers at various military institutions in India. Indian Navy ships are regularly deployed as part of Indian Navy's mission of building bridges of friendship and strengthening international cooperation with friendly countries, as well as to address maritime concerns across the globe. The current visit seeks to accentuate India's solidarity with the friendly countries and in particular strengthen existing bonds of friendship with Namibia. INS Sumedha is the third of the indigenously developed naval offshore patrol vessel of Saryu class, deployed for multiple roles independently and in support of fleet operations. The ship is equipped with several weapon systems, sensors, state-of-art navigation and communication systems, and electronic warfare systems. The 8th edition of joint exercise of Indian Navy's MARCOS with the US Navy Special Forces Team SEALs was concluded in Goa. Various maritime maneuvers were conducted to test the interoperability of both the navies and tested operational requirements in a joint exercise format. Also last week, another batch of MARCOS commandos were on a training exercise in Mauritius at Port Louis. The exercise was part of the 14th edition of Special Forces and Diving Refresher Camp with Mauritius Police. The training is conducted on an annual basis and is focused to undertake maritime special forces operations and salvage operations at the sea. After the recent earthquake that struck Nepal, which killed more than 150 people, India promptly extended humanitarian aid and relief assistance. Indian Air Force pressed into service its dependable transport aircraft C-130 into action by airlifting more than 11 tons of emergency material within 24 to 48 hours of the reporting of disaster. Materials included tents, tarpaulin sheets, blankets, sleeping bags, essential medicines and medical equipment such as portable ventilators. Materials were provided as a follow-up to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to provide all possible assistance to Nepal following an earthquake that hit Jajarkot on November 3rd. This year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi celebrated Diwali with soldiers posted along the India-China border at Lepcha in Himachal Pradesh. Addressing soldiers, the Prime Minister said that while Ayodhya is said to be where Ram is, the place where Jawans are posted is no less than any temple for me. Wherever you are, my festival is there, he said. The armed forces have taken India's pride to new heights, he added. Pointing towards global expectations from India in the current world scenario, the Prime Minister said in such a situation, it is important that India's borders remain secure. And close to the heels of Prime Minister, the Chief of Army Staff, General Manoj Pandey, visited forward areas in the Harshil sector in the Garhwal Himalayas and celebrated Diwali with troops posted in the region. On occasion, the Chief of Army Staff also briefed about the infrastructure development by the Army officials. The COAS interacted with the troops of the Indian Army, the BRO, the ITBP and forward areas. General Pandey commended the forces for their high morale and dedication and steadfastness despite the terrain and weather-related operational challenges. And that's all for this week in Defense News Weekly. Keep watching this space on Newsgate Television. Namaskar. Jai Hind.